I sit here now wrapped in a silence I know as intimately as my own shadow, staring out the window. I look upon the house I built, brick by brick, with hands that are now cold and tired. A house that once echoed with laughter, voices, footsteps, and now those footsteps are long gone. All that remains is silence, cold, hollow, and unbearable. It was my house, our home, the place where my children grew up, where they learned to walk, to speak, to love. I remember every one of their laughs as if it were yesterday. And yet, I also remember every departure, every goodbye that wasn't really spoken, as if they left me in this empty world to wait for something that would never return. I didn't notice when it all began to change. One morning, I woke up and the house was already quiet. Not the calm after a storm kind of quiet, but a soul-piercing stillness, the kind that tells you something has shifted forever, that the children had grown up and gone far away, that their lives had become stories written without me. Day after day, I set 3 places at the table, 3 empty chairs. I made 3 cups of coffee, even though I knew they wouldn't drink them. Still, each time I made them, something stirred in my chest, a strange, stubborn hope. I wrote them letters full of love and longing, of questions that didn't need answers, just a gentle presence on the other end. I wrote about cold winter evenings, about springs when the garden bloomed, about warm summers and golden autumns we once watched together from the porch. But no replies came. I'm not to blame for their leaving, nor for their forgetting. But it hurt. It hurt like a stone lodged in the heart that you can't remove. Every absence was a fresh wound. Every restless night was filled with dreams of voices that no longer called my name. Then, one rainy day, as I sat alone, I saw a car approach the house. My heart pounded like a drum long left untouched. Maybe they were here, I thought. Maybe it was time for embraces and words we hadn't said. But it wasn't them, not really. Their faces, yes. But their eyes were cold and unfamiliar. They wore expensive suits and carried papers in their hands. They didn't look at me, didn't ask how I was, didn't seek forgiveness. They came to talk about inheritance. The house had become a piece of property, and I, a stranger. I stood there silent, listening to their voices echo through the halls like a bit of wind. I searched their eyes for a flicker of love, of pain, of anything. But there was nothing. In my hand, I held an envelope with a key to the house. I handed it to them, the only thing left from the life we once shared. I said softly, barely above a whisper, "This is all I can give you. Everything else you've already taken." They took the key and left, and I remained, alone with myself, with memories, with the silence I knew better than any sound. Still, I set 3 places at the table. Still, I brew 3 cups of coffee. Still, I wait. I know they won't come, but I do it anyway, because it's all I have left. This small act of love and hope in a world without them. I remember when they first learned to walk, how they wobbled on unsteady feet, how they ran to me with arms wide open. Back then, I was their hero, their rock. Every fall turned into laughter, every victory into a celebration. I was their whole world, There were days they fought amongst themselves, but always they would come to me, seeking peace and safety. And I was always there. I never turned my back. Looking back now, I see how deeply I loved and how deeply I was loved. But life has its own currents. Sometimes those currents pull people so far apart that even echoes become distant. Now their voices are like faded echoes in my dreams. I hear them sometimes calling for me, and then I wake and remember I'm alone. The nights are the hardest. That's when silence becomes deafening. That's when the words left unsaid come to haunt you. The hugs never given, the tears never shed. I ask myself often, what went wrong? Could I have done more, been better? But deep down, I know I gave all I had. Maybe life was too harsh. Maybe circumstances were stronger than love. But love never left. It stayed behind, imprisoned in these walls, in these memories that sometimes choke me and other times keep me breathing. Now, as I sit here watching the sun dip behind the hills, I know my time is nearing its end, but I leave behind this story as a testament that I loved, that I waited, and that I never gave up. Maybe one day someone will hear this voice. Maybe they will understand this pain and this quiet, unyielding hope. And maybe somewhere out there, my children are looking into the distance, feeling the same emptiness I felt. And in that moment, perhaps, one tear falls. And maybe, just maybe, we'll be together again.